Hi, Writer Unboxed. This is Nancy Johnson, author of the debut novel, The Kindest Lie. I'm here to talk with you today about conflict and how to master conflict in your own novels. This is something I wrestled with and had to really work hard at with my book. So my first tip on conflict is that emotional attachment leads to stronger conflict. So in my novel, I had this disagreement between Ruth, my main character, and her grandmother. They hadn't seen each other in many years, and when they came together, I initially wrote it where they were screaming and yelling at each other and yanking things and snatching. But I eventually learned from those I studied with that I needed to show these two people loving each other. I needed to show that there's a relationship there at stake and that they care about each other. And then once I had these two people really be people who loved and cared for each other, then when they disagreed and had this big blow up, then it was about something significant. There was really something at stake there in that relationship. My second tip is around tension, particularly in dialogue. Quite often, the conflict doesn't come in what is said, but instead it's about what is left unsaid. And so in my book, I've got Ruth, my main character, and her husband, Xavier, and they're having this argument because Ruth is saying to him, "Why is it you tell people I'm from Indianapolis when I'm really from Ganton, Indiana?" And Ganton is a small factory town. And he's like, "Well, because most people out there haven't heard of Ganton, they've heard of Indianapolis." But for Ruth, the conflict was in what she did not say to her husband. It really wasn't about what he tells people about where she might be from. She's dealing with her own internal shame and insecurity about being from this small town in the industrial Midwest. So that's what it was really about, but they were having an argument about where he tells people she's from. But it was really about something deeper that never got said. Then the third tip about another key to master conflict is around the internal piece. What's going on inside the characters? So you might have events where characters are at odds and there's a lot of strife there, but really the true tension and the true conflict quite often is about what's happening internally. And for Ruth in my story, the conflict for her internally throughout the book is around whether or not she believes she deserves to be a mother. What does it mean to be a mother? Guilt is another one. She's wrestling with the idea of, did I escape my hometown to achieve my dreams only to leave my son mired in the very poverty that I managed to escape? And so that's what she's dealing with. And so you've got all these events that are transpiring throughout the story as she's on this journey and this quest to find out what happened to her son after she left him behind. But the conflict there is what's going on inside her. It's not just about, is she gonna find her kid and what are the obstacles she faces along the way? Those are the external pieces. But the core of the conflict internally are those questions that she's wrestling with inside. So those are my tips, my 3 quick tips about mastering conflict in your novel. So let me know what you're thinking. How do you approach conflict in the books that you write? And I will see you next time on Writer Unboxed.